Hello.
How are you
Good.
doing?
I'm good, thank you. I'm just like literally chilling in my room after a really long day. So
Good
yeah, how
stuff.
about you? How are
Yeah, we're
you?
doing good. So for the people at home, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. My name's Cara. First name, my pronoun.
Yeah, you can introduce how yourself however you like.
Cool. My pronouns are they, she. I, I talk a lot of shit on the internet.
Join the club?
What was your name? Christina.
Yes, sorry,
Hi.
this is my co-host Christina.
Nice
Um,
to meet you. I'm
she
Cara.
she's my arch nemesis, though apparently I'm not her arch nemesis. So
Oh, there you
Yeah,
go.
she
I saw
no,
values
you
me
had
more than I do her.
I saw you had Charlie on earlier.
yeah,
Oh, I
yeah,
love Charlie.
yeah. It's really great to talk to Charlie. Yeah, we've had some really good guests so far. It's been really great. So no pressure.
I know, sorry, you're like literally getting me when I'm like at my most haggard at like.
Well, you still look great. You always look beautiful in all of your selfies, and you make
Oh,
us all
thank
jealous. So,
I always feel like I'm a proper catfish when people see us like this because I'm like, this is what I actually look like.
no, you still look great. What colour is your hair at the moment? Is it green?
It's like blonde
Okay.
into green. I don't know. I can't really decide what it wants to be right now.
Yeah, I always think of you as someone who's got like really great hair colour. So
Oh, thank you. I always think of you as
just
I
a
was like
knobhead.
I'm always like way too intimidated to talk to you.
No, you can always talk to me because I'm an idiot, so it's fine.
That's right. So am I. We'll get on. We'll get on just fine.
So-
So, do you know? Like, I was going to ask you, actually, if like you were talking with Charlie before about how you feel like you're a metalhead
Mm.
more than anything and stuff, and you said that like that part of like like you said that you feel like that more like first before anything else, and I thought that was like really interesting. I thought that was like really cool.
Yeah, I think that. I mean, obviously, being into metal music is just like what music you like, and you do meet
Yeah.
people from all walks of life who just like heavy music, and there's nothing else about them that correlates. But there is definitely a metalhead personality type and political view and sort of whole movement in a way. I mean, it's not so much a movement anymore, but particularly in the 80s, of it's very let me live my life and I'll let you live your life. I mean, and I guess in a way, it's a little bit right wing libertarian in that it's like you know, if you're not bothering me, I'm not bothering you. Let's just get on. Which isn't necessarily what right wing libertarians are like, but it's that kind of spirit, and that goes along with metalheads. And it's this kind of you say what you want, you do what you want, and if anyone starts hurting people, then you're gonna stop them because everyone here is here to have a good time. We're all here to enjoy the music, and I just really identify with that. Like for my whole life, since I've been like 15 or 16, that's kind of been what I've been into and what I've looked up to and who I just am. And that, yeah, it really does feel like my main, my main sort of source of my personality. I guess that kind of sounds really lame. It's not like I'm modelling myself. It's just how I've turned out.
It doesn't sound. It doesn't sound lame at all. It sounds really cool, and I've never heard someone describe themselves as like something that they love and are passionate about first. I think that's like really lovely, actually. Right, I've not heard someone say that before. Because I kind of like dipped into the stream with when you were all doing it with Charlie, and I was like, just like sort of listening, like while I was taking the makeup off, and yeah, I just thought it was really nice. Just because like I could just tell it was like a nice little conversation that was going on. So I was like, I'm gonna get in on that at some point.
Yeah, we'll totally get in it, mate. It's great. It's great. So
Yeah,
what?
something that kind of used to be in heavy metal, that was one of the things that appealed to me. So you go to a heavy metal gig and it didn't matter who you are, it didn't matter who you loved, who you were, how you presented. You were all there because you loved the music, and if somebody went down in the mosh pit, everyone helped you up. No matter who you were, everyone helped you up, and everyone was kind of like this instant bonding. that I'd never experienced anywhere else other than at metal gigs.
One of the quickest ways to bond with someone that I've ever had in my life, like whenever I've moved to a new city or anything, is you wear the most obscure metal t-shirt you possibly can. The thing that least people have heard of. No, this is municipal waste. Everyone knows municipal waste. I'm the poser for having this on, mate. Crossover thrash. What are you talking about? No, it's like if you wear some much more obscure t-shirt and you walk into the pub and most of the people there won't care, and there'll be one person who will be like, we are friends now, like, and instantly, like, you can, I mean, I've had entire nights out where I've talked with one person about one album, and it's probably a bit like over the top and probably really tedious for certain people. I know the first time Christina came to visit me in Bristol, she met a few of my friends and we sat down at this table, and one of my good friends, Alex, came over, and me and him both like black metal. And we got in an argument about black metal, and we were like shouting at each other about like which, I can't even remember what it was. It was like which Norwegian black metal band produced the second best album in 1993 or something. And like, we've got strong opinions on this. And she's just like,
oh, bless.
I went and made friends with other people. It's fine.
Yeah, she did.
There was a guy that had a tungsten wedding ring, and I talked to him about his tungsten wedding ring for like 20 minutes.
I mean, I've never listened to metal, like heavy metal music or anything like that, to be honest. Like I don't know a lot about it, but I think there is this kind of like culture, isn't there, like in like kind of alternative kind of scenes where like it is just kind of like I don't care who you are as long as you just like listen, like as long as we're just vibing, which is kind of like really interesting, because it's like, so I think I heard you say that you didn't think you could be trans because of like all the like negative connotations that are linked to being trans, and then you found a trans person who was also into heavy metal, something like part of the band, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like really cool when you have like that, when you find that like one trans person that like makes you go, oh, this is possible.
Yeah,
mine was like way less cool than that. Mine was Gigi Gorgeous from like YouTube.
But she is mega, so.
Yeah, but like I don't know, like these days I'm like I couldn't be fussed, but like back then I was just like, I like her makeup. She's nice. She seems cool.
I am subscribed to her on YouTube. I don't watch much of her stuff, but I like how she's got this kind of metal attitude of just like, fuck it, it's good for me, I'm gonna do it. Like if it doesn't hurt you, what's the problem? And that kind of confidence that comes with that. And that is great.
I think I like her more now that she's not just like, look at my jewels. I think I like her now that she's like, I'm not putting like a harsh pressure on myself to be like a certain sort of way, which is nice.
More comfortable with herself, I guess.
Yeah, and it's just like, it doesn't feel so, what's the word? It's like forced, I guess, which is nice. And I think that she just seems really happy. So I check in sometimes, but like for me, like I just really love like Stephanie Yati.
Oh yeah, she's great.
Oh my god, I had like this like really big like fangirl moment when she like followed me on Twitter, and then
amazing.
And then she followed me on Instagram, and I was just like really fanning myself. So that was like that was like a moment where I was like really fangirling, because like she is like my trans goddess.
I mean, I've had quite a few of those. I mean, so I don't know if you saw when I was talking to Charlie earlier, I was saying that like she's one of the main ones who like is the reason I came out. And so when she followed me back, and then we talked to her, and I've met her in real life, and I was like, oh. And another one as well was Carmen Carrera, who was, I don't actually know much about her, but she's from like some TV show from ages ago. But I saw her doing these like interviews on TV, just like smashing it. And one time, like the first time she liked my tweet, I was like,
oh my gosh, I love Carmen Carrera is so beautiful, and also Charlie. I've met Charlie a few times, and like she's always so sweet.
She is.
Like just
I got her really drunk.
Pardon?
I got her really drunk.
Did you?
We went on a night out in Bristol, and there's this. So one of the metal bars that I go to has these things called agua bombs. So they're a little bit like Jaeger bombs, but they come in like this special shot glass where it's like separated into layers, and agua is made from like I don't know, coca leaf or cocaine leaf or something something mad.
Yeah.
And I introduced her to those, and she was like, "Oh, these are quite nice." And she had like 4, like back to back, pretty much. And it was an experience.
No, that sounds great. Like, I feel like that's kind of like my northern kind of blood comes out, because if someone comes to hang out with me, I'm like, come on, let's get on it. And I think like, I mean, unless someone's not drinking.
You should come to Bristol, because I will get on it.
Oh God, yeah, please, can I?
Do it.
When the
Yeah,
apocalypse is
she'll
over.
get you drunk and then she'll push you in front of an Uber and try and
Christina got so drunk she fell over, and she's accused me of pushing her over ever since.
Well, that sounds like a conspiracy, like that, like who killed Carol Baskin kind of thing that's going on. You know what I mean? Like the Tigers. I don't know. No, like I'd love to. I'm always up for going out for a night out, especially. I'll wait till the apocalypse is over, but after that, then I'm definitely there.
Northern girls, I'm sure you can come over in December and not wear a coat.
Oh my God, I never wear a coat. It really
Of course you
stresses out
fucking
everybody.
don't. Listen to your accent. That's not a coat accent.
This is not a coat accent. It's so funny because I remember like my ex, like when we went to Newcastle for the first, like before we went to Newcastle when I met my ex, like we were together for a really long time, and they'd be like, "Why do you never wear a coat in London? Like you never do it." And like they were from Poland, so they just didn't understand it. And they were like, why don't you ever wear a coat? And I was like, it's a Geordie thing. And he was like,
So
it's
it's
not a Geordie thing. You just don't put a coat on. And I was like, it's a Geordie thing. And then the first time we went to Newcastle, it was like winter, and like people were like in no coats, in heels, in skates, like less dressed than me. And they were like, oh my God, like, I'm sorry. Like everyone is like you here.
Yes, like you've softened up because your skirt like is 3 inches longer than everyone else's, so you must be really warm.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just like a right wimp now.
Yeah.
Like I used to be able to go out in like literally like a belt and a bra, and that was it. So
Yeah, I know someone that does that.
They're probably from the north, isn't it?
Probably, yeah, probably.
I think Lucy's from the north.
Oh, she is, yeah, and she doesn't.
There's a photo of me and Lucy, and she's literally in this harness and these short shorts, and I'm in this like fake fur coat, and it's
I
mad.
love a good harness.
I mean,
That was,
for
like,
going out and just in general.
Just in general, both. I don't know. I just like harnesses are my thing. But there was something I was going to ask you. I totally forgot. I think. Oh yeah, I'm trying to think about like when I followed you, because it's like I think the first thing that I saw about you was like a video of you playing guitar.
Okay, yeah.
And I
Got
thought
my
like I
guitar
was like,
right here.
yeah, I was like, damn, this chick is cool.
Thank
And,
you.
like, I was like, I'm gonna have to follow her, but like then I like talked to you here and there. I think when you like replied to some of my stuff.
Because the first time I remember, maybe I followed you before, but the first time I kind of like remember you thing was when you were going like through your Jerris story. Like, sorry to bring it up if that's not something you want to talk about.
Oh no, that's
But
fine.
I knew
was
you were
gonna
very like open and public about it, and I think that it was really important because you just kind of gave this like realistic but optimistic and just chill perspective on it, because it's a big deal, but it just came across as like you were just kind of obviously dealing with it, but like just kind of smashing it in the way that the best you can for
Yeah, because I was gonna ask if you were comfortable about it, because I know that you got yours recently, right? You wanted to talk about that. And yeah, I think
no.
block. No, but I think the thing is just like I kind of wanted to create like a resource like online about it, but the thing is like I'm just very northern in how I handle everything, so I was just kind of like, instead of like doing it very scientific and like this is what happens at this stage and you feel this way, you've probably seen my tweets, it's just like my pussy's done that and I'm feeling this way and it's blah, blah, blah. And it's like I think like that energy is just like maybe why people kind of like liked it a bit more, because it was just
I think so. It's a different, like I'm very southern, and as soon as it goes below 25 degrees I cry, but also like this kind of metalhead, and also I guess it's kind of like a UK in general working class thing, is that I like things that are blunt. I like people where they just say what they're thinking and what they're feeling, rather than this very like southern middle class thing where you have to dance around everything and everything has to be presented politely and stuff. and I know I do quite a lot of that on Twitter. I'm good at it because I grew up in the South. But like when you're arguing with transphobes, you often have to strategically present everything. But that's not always the best way to present it to trans people, because like you just need to be real and just need to I hate saying you just need to be real, but like it's true. If you can just say it, like I'm struggling with this, I'm smashing this, like my pussy's doing whatever, like it is good to like, and it is inspiring for people as well, and it communicates it in a different way, because if we all just watched Gigi Gorgeous and no one else, we wouldn't have the full spectrum of understanding all of the different parts on it from everyone. So
yeah, exactly. And I think also like kind of like the point of it as well is kind of because like people like have followed me for not just the fact that I talk about that too, which has been really nice, because I think like people who have followed me initially for that and then kind of like, oh, I like her makeup, or I like what she's wearing, or I like what she stands for, or I like how she looks, or and then they're kind of like, and I like that she likes this show, and it's kind of cool because it's like a resource for people, like a bottom surgery kind of resource if people want to kind of like dig around, because I've done like videos and stuff about it. But then they're also like, oh, trans people are more than just the genitals. They actually have like, dynamic personality.
I mean, speak for yourself. I'm literally just a vagina.
Yeah. Same. You're optimistic, but no, exactly. So yeah, no, like I think because I remember like I was following your journey quite closely, like when you started posting about it, because I was like, you went to Thailand, didn't you? Yeah, because
Christina came for moral support and was very appreciated.
Oh, you went to Thailand too? Oh, fantastic!
Yeah.
Well, that's
so my first time out of Europe. Furthest east and south.
Literally on the plane, every 30 seconds, she was like, "This is the furthest east I've ever been." And we're like, okay, Christina. She's like, guys, I've got this really interesting fact. Actually, I was just reading. This is the furthest east I've ever been. And we're like,
oh my god, that is so cute.
It's like Sam Gamgee or whatever. One more step, and it's the first of the Shire.
Sam Gamgee is the hero of Lord of the Rings. Sorry.
I think I used to live in Thailand actually, like really.
No way, really. Where did you live?
Like, pardon?
Whereabouts?
So I was about 10, 11, 12. It was Bangkok.
Okay.
For a very short period. It was I can't really remember it because I don't remember a lot of my childhood, but I just remember bits and pieces of it. And I know that the healthcare over there is really good. Like they really look after you very well, don't they?
If you're technically a Thai citizen and like for Thai people, or if you're rich, but there are whole swathes of Thailand which are horrifically underfunded and.
Oh really?
Yeah. There's so in the whole of Southeast Asia, there's quite a lot of stateless people, because there are so many ethnic groups in Southeast Asia, and there's quite a lot of just general racism.
Right.
And particularly I know Vietnam and Laos have a lot of them, but I know Thailand do too, where it's just someone who has no state, they have no rights, they have nothing, and in that case they have no healthcare. But yeah, I mean, Thailand has, for Southeast Asia, Thailand is like smashing it on healthcare.
Did you feel well looked after and taken
Oh
care
yeah,
of?
yeah. I think that the so I went with Dr. Supon, and I mean he's got a good reputation. His clinic, I think he's retired even now or maybe soon, and his reputation, is kind of worldwide. It's very good reputation, but it's not just for his results. Obviously, the care was very good. I was visited by nurses all the time. Like I was there for 4 weeks, which is a long time. And the nurses visited every day at least once, and I often saw nurses twice in a day. And
So, if like I'm sorry, I'm asking you so many questions.
No, it's alright. I'm meant to be interviewing you, but bring it. No, I'm up for questions.
I mean, I don't know what there is much to say about me. I mean, you feel free to ask me any question you like. But I was just going to ask, like, were you? Because obviously, I had my bottom surgery in Bristol, Brighton, and I had my bottom surgery in Brighton, and Nuffield Health, and I was out of bed within 4 days and went home a day early. So I went home on the 6th.
Really? Wow, quick turnaround.
Yeah, because I was really stubborn.
Because you're from the north, that's why.
I was just like day 2 is because basically like I don't know if you've had this, but did you have to stay on your back for 2 days?
I'm not really sure. I mean, to be honest, I was on the old meds while I was in hospital, and it's kind of bled into one.
Oh, right,
I was there for a week.
Pretty much a week.
God, really?
So recently I visited someone that had it done in London.
Right.
And the difference between the two was kind of massive. I mean one was NHS and one was like fully private. So I don't want to go into too much of Katie's experience, but having seen both of them from someone that didn't go through it was a big difference.
Right.
It's kind of hard to compare because there's the whole kind of NHS is kind of free and more accessible, which is fantastic. And also the individual people that I saw as someone observing from the outside on the NHS, they were easily on par with the people that I saw through KPs.
Oh, that's amazing. That's good.
Kind of the frequency of them and kind of the like general service and kind of the room that they were both in.
Yeah.
It was different sort of levels.
I think so. So with so I visited a couple of friends in Brighton, and in Brighton, I don't know how you found it, Cara, but like everyone had their own single room that was just for them, and that's what I had in Thailand. Whereas in London, that wasn't the case, and I think that is quite a big difference. I mean, obviously, whatever's good for you is whatever's good for you, and it's good to have people around to talk to and stuff. But I'm glad I had my own room.
I did have my own room because it was a private hospital, so like it was
nothing is, isn't it?
Paid for a private hospital, but it was so I was really grateful for that, and I was really grateful for my room as well because it was like really peaceful. But for me, because I was on my back for 2 days and like hooked up to so many machines, I felt so claustrophobic. So I was just like, oh my god, like this is so stubborn. And maybe as well, I keep talking about being northern, but like that's just like my personality at the time.
Exactly, you identify as northern first, and then everything else.
Northern first, and then everything else is just whatever. Northern first, then a vagina, then. But basically, like I was just so I just kind of I don't know. It was really weird because like there was this northern thing of like no matter how sick you get, you don't go to the doctors, which is like not a really great thing, but like. Like my nana like literally be like spewing her guts up and she'd be like, I don't need a doctor, I'm fine. And then I think like I'm like the same because like I'll be like really ill and I'm like, just give me a cold, I'll be all right.
Northern people don't get ill anyway, so it's all right.
We don't, and then we kind of just fight it off and then we're all right. And basically like I kind of had that mentality when I went to the doctors and it, like when I was in hospital because it was like day 2 and I was like so uncomfortable and so fed up that I was just like, I'm gonna get out of here as fast as I can. And then like day 3, the doctors were like, you're really weird because like you can already stand and like get on a chair and sit down. And I was just like, I'm leaving. And then they discharged me a day early.
Mate, that's amazing. Because I'm like the opposite. I'm the kind of person who, I'm a hypochondriac. Like the slightest thing, and I'm panicking, and I feel like I've not had a terrible experience with Jerris recovery, but comparing to other people who went to the same place, I feel like I'm struggling a little bit worse than average. But also I probably complain worse than average, so it's hard to say.
And you know, like that's totally, like,
shut up, Christina.
Christina's like, yeah. No, but basically, like I think like I definitely do struggle with like I feel like. You know, like, I was going to say, like, bottom surgery is not linear. Like, obviously, like, you don't need me to tell you that. Like, everyone's recovery is different. And mine's been really weird. Like, to be honest, I've not been dilating that much, even though I should be. And I've not lost any depth somehow. I don't know how. Good.
Well, I mean, it's different for everyone. And if it's working for you, then...
Yeah, I couldn't do it. It wasn't... So I think it just depends. But yeah, anyway. Yeah. I don't I don't want to keep banging on about bottom surgery because I don't want you to feel like you have to expose too much. That's all.
No, right, come on, get it out now.
1, 2, 3.
Banned from YouTube.
Oh my god. Are people like commenting on this?
There are people commenting. There's a healthy chat going on. Hi, Shannon. Yeah. Does anyone have any questions for Cara about either being Northern or about being a vagina or about anything else about her personality?
That is the only two aspects from personality. It's just vagina or Northern. I can't.
I've got a question. What hair products do you use? Because the volume.
Mate, you've got Volume City going on. Look at mine. I look a flipping egg.
So literally, this is it unstyled. It just does this.
What do you wash it with? What conditioner? What shampoo?
I use like any shampoo and conditioner that I can get my hands on. Like if there's like a Sainsbury's basic one, but the one that I've been using at the moment was Keratis. I got it from Amazon because it was like an Amazon like gift voucher that someone gave me. So I was like, oh, I'll actually buy expensive shampoo for one. It's Keratis shampoo. It's like a blue one. And then there's like a conditioner that I use with it too. It's like a match.
I love the fact that somebody gave you an Amazon voucher and you spent it on shampoo, and somebody gave me an Amazon voucher and I spent it on gin.
Well, you know what? I mean, like, I've just been out northern. Sorry. But
well, East is just as bad.
I think gin's kind of a southern kind of fancy kind of middle class London thing.
Yeah, no, London's turned me towards gin a little bit.
That reminds me of a Red Dwarf joke where Lister's like one of the characters and he's very like working class and doesn't like fancy stuff. And he's like, oh, you just reminded me of the worst experience of my life. And they're like, yeah? He's like, mate, one time I went to this wine bar. And they're like, yeah? And he's like, yeah, I know. God, terrible.
So me, I met this like really she's absolutely lovely, but she's like a friend of mine now, but she's like a well-known, she's like a trans model and she's obviously very like well off, do you know what I mean? And I met her at like this
flashing your contacts.
Thing. Pardon?
Flashing your contacts.
Just the one, but like it's like it was really funny because she was like really obviously quite posh and like very beautiful and just like, and I was really intimidated by her. But really wanted to be her friend. So I was just like, those people that you meet where you're just like, I'm absolutely terrified of it, but I want to be a pal. It was just kind of like that. And she was alone in a bathroom. And I was just, that sounds really scary, but basically she was alone in the bathroom. And I was just like, let's be friends. Have you got anyone? And she was like, no. And I was like, well, we're going to hang out then. And she was like, great.
Oh.
So we went out for lunch because it was like really busy, this like festival thing. And she was like, come on, darling, like, we'll go this way for dinner. And I was like, right, okay. And we ended up at this restaurant, and it was like obviously like a lunch bar, but it was like all panelled wood, and it looked like a really fancy place. And she was like, come on, we'll get like a, I don't know, guinea amuse-bouche, like, goat cheese wrap thing. And I was just like, literally, like, I was so out of my depth. Like, I was like picking up like bowls of like cabbage and just being like, this. And I was just like, where's the chips? Like, where's the... And she was like... And I was like...
Why is nothing deep fried?
Literally. And like, why is this like bowl of like moss like 20 quid? Like, no. But I bought like a pink lemonade because I was trying to impress her.
So, I had face surgery in Spain at the start of 2019. And... like, I was terrified. I had a huge fear of anaesthetic. I was terrified of dying in the surgery, like, completely irrational, over-the-top fears. And
it's totally rational. It's totally normal.
Well, yeah, it's normal, but, like, I was next level terrified. But I was, like, the night before, I was, like, honestly felt to myself, this could be the last meal I ever have, because you had to eat before 10 o'clock or whatever. So I was like, I want to go out, I'll eat anything, but I want to eat a lot of anything. Like, I'll just, literally just potatoes. Like, I'm in the mood to just enjoy anything. And we looked around, but because I was in Marbella in January, everything was closed. And we walked for like hours and we like running out of time before I had to eat. And we went into this restaurant, sat down and ordered. And it was this like really posh, like, nonsense. 7 courses, but every single course came out on this plate that was like this big, and it was like a little single thing. The starter was like fish flavoured shaving foam in an egg cup. And I instantly, as soon as they brought it out, I was like, I hate my life. And they brought out this other thing. They brought out like this like ball that looked like it was going to be like crunchy, but then it was like gooey in the middle, and I only threw up.
Christ.
And the worst thing was, we were the only people in the restaurant. It was me and my 2 friends who had come with me.
Yeah.
And the chef was like watching us eat it, and I wanted to like throw up. It was like, oh, it's so horrific.
Oh my God.
But it's just so fancy. I couldn't even like even the English translations of the words I couldn't say because they were all too like, you know, like croquet sablé or whatever it is. I don't know. But
yeah,
I actually think it was really good for me because honestly, I was so angry. I went to bed and cried in rage at the idea that the last meal I'd ever eaten had a flipping ball that exploded in goo. I was so angry.
I was saying how upset you were because I remember frantically messaging.
I was messaging people so
people
angry,
that you
like,
were with,
the last meal I've ever had.
I'm really worried.
It's like nobody wants like a tiny carrot with like a little sprig on it. Like that's just not what I want.
One of
It was
the
like pureed carrot on like foam. That was the level of food he was eating.
one of them was this like trough full of unpopped popcorn, which I did try eating, but it's impossible. And it had a single prawn on it. Was the course like?
Just absolutely criminal. It's actually criminal. Like I feel like personally offended by stuff like that because it's just like you were gonna try and charge me 60 quid for like a bit of mashed carrot. Like literally, like I give me baby sister that like in a pot. So I don't understand. Like I can't do it. Like I think I'm like a hearty lass. Like I like a good hearty meal. I like chips and I like stuff on top of chips. Do you know what I mean? I like chips and beans.
Just chips, mate. Chips and chips. The other day I made a really good curry that was just curry and chips, and that's a good combo.
Oh, the best. The best.
By the way, for any American viewers, when we say chips, we actually mean chips and we don't mean crisps. And
oh yeah, that sounds so good.
And we don't mean fries. There's 3 different key potato products here. There is crisps, fries, and chips, and they are separate things. And crisps is what you call chips, and fries is what you call fries. But we also have chips, which you don't have, which are the best of the 3. Well, actually, they're all the best of the 3.
Oh, do you know what are really good? Like, do you know those like home baked kind of like thick ones that you get in like Tesco's, whatever, and they're like really thick and long, and they're just like the perfect crunch. That's the one. They're chips.
All of them are chips. Like pub chips are good. Fish and chip shop chips are good. Like they're not a thing that you don't get out of England. So, huh?
All chips are equal.
Well, all chips are the best chips, just like how all cats are the best cat.
Chip rights.
Yeah, today is International Day of Chip Visibility. We want to make them internationally known. We haven't even talked about trans stuff. We're just going to talk about chips.
I know we haven't, yeah.
Yeah, anyway, so on the trans stuff, do you, how do you feel about Trans Day of Visibility, like with yourself? Do you feel like putting yourself out there, or is it just another day for you? Or
is that at me?
Yeah. I don't care about Christina at all, so...
So basically, like, I feel like it's a really important day too. Like, kind of, like, I feel like I exist kind of loudly online as a trans person anyway. But I feel like it's a really nice way to just kind of see like the entire like community just kind of like together. But I feel like, and it's a nice kind of way to see like how allies interact, because I feel like it kind of shows who's an ally and who isn't. Does that make sense? It's like I've been really like, because I don't like to start beef, but I've been like kind of really like kind of like nitpicky on like people who call themselves allies these days because I'm like, I've seen so many people who say they're allies who just say they're allies and that's it. Like I need to see more.
Like I support trans people as a badge rather than an action.
Yeah, and I feel like it's been really nice because I've seen some like really strong allies like coming out to like support trans people, and like kind of like being visible is scary, but it's also important, I think, if you feel able to do it. And And yeah, like I did a video like with like HuffPost or something.
Oh yeah, no, I saw that. That was really cool.
Yeah, so that's come out today. Of all, which I thought was like really nice to post.
Yeah.
It's obviously like it's quite like a trigger. It can be quite triggering. Like I wouldn't watch it if you're not in a good headspace, but it is like important because it's like real stories from trans people. So and there's some like really incredible people in it, like Lucia Blake. I don't know if you've heard of Lucia.
Of who, sorry?
Lucia Blake. She started
Maybe.
first trans pride in London, and she started Harpies, which is like a trans strip club in London.
Oh, okay.
And so like she's in it, and yeah, like I just think it's been really nice because I've seen some like really great content and like some really lovely empowering messages from other trans people. But yeah, what do you think about it?
One of the things that I think is great about any kind of like trans thing, like on Twitter. I mean, I'm literally addicted to Twitter, so whenever I talk about it, I always have to. But one of the things I think is great, like earlier we had on Hunter, and he has like 350,000 Instagram followers. And so much, like he did a tweet the other day of just him like before coming out and him now, and it like just hit 450,000 likes. And like, you know, not even that long ago, I hadn't heard of him. And there's always like today I discovered a trans woman, and she's got like I don't know 200,000 YouTube subs or something. And like I've never seen her before. She's beautiful. She's amazing. Like. I'm so glad.
Yeah, I saw Hunter was on here very briefly. I feel like obviously I don't know him like really well. Like I've seen like 1 or 2 pictures of him. But I did pop on just to see him on the live stream because like that's what I seem to be doing, and like he's hot.
Yes, he is.
Like I was just like, hi.
Yeah. He is definitely hot. He's smashing it. Like, but he's also just like winning, like.
Pardon?
He's also just like winning, like, you know, just smashing it at life, so
yeah must be nice.
Mate, you're winning too.
I wanted to get staff discount at his job. I didn't ask him.
Oh yeah, he works at a weed shop.
Oh wow, oh my god, so
the ultimate man.
Yeah, like the thing is like with trans, like I'm just such a raging bisexual, so just like it's just like post after post. I was like, Obviously, it's not just about how people look, but like it's just like it's not just about how they look. It's just about like who they are as people as well. I'm just like, ooh, powerful. I fancy you. I'm bi. So yeah, I think like, but it's pretty great. I'm just seeing so many, because you feel like you know everyone in the community, and then you meet like 20 new people that you hadn't heard of.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's so easy to think, oh, you know, everyone in the trans community knows each other, but there are still huge chunks of it that I haven't even crossed paths with. And like particularly again, from a Twitter perspective, I'm still discovering new people on Twitter, and then you go on Instagram and it's a totally different world, and like they attract different groups of people, and you know it's totally it like for example when I went to Thailand, Thailand obviously selects for a different group of people than Twitter does, and most of the people in Thailand are rich people. I mean, that's just true. I mean, you have to be able to afford it. You have to be able to afford to go out there. You have to be able to afford to take time off work. And it means that quite a lot of them have supportive parents, so they're generally younger. Loads of them were stealth. Lots of them passed to a sickening degree. And it's just such a different world, because when you know, sometimes you can be up like, well, you know, me, when I'm arguing with all these like gender critical people, and I'm listening to them and like taking their points on board, and okay, I'll accept your premise for the point of this view of this discussion. And you can get kind of pushed into this position where you're like, well, you know, maybe some trans people pass sometimes. And then you go into a different world, like to Thailand or even just onto Instagram, and it's like, what are you talking? Like there are people whose entire lives is literally 100% detached from everything these gender critical people are talking about, because you know that, I mean, some of them are rich, but even the ones who aren't rich have just totally different lives because of where they've grown up, or how, like, I mean, passing is a big factor, which is sad to say, and so is wealth, but like they aren't the only factors, and there are just some people who have just totally different lives from all this transphobic bullshit, particularly seen in the UK media. So
Yeah, I think, I don't know, like, because I see, like, you are, like, I don't know how you manage to deal with so much of that stuff. Because, like, I think, obviously, you must have, like, healthy boundaries in place, right? Like, keeping you, like, a detachment from, no? Okay.
I
Like,
try my best. I'm very good at arguing with people
yeah,
forever, and I'm good at emotionally like detaching from things. But I still
yeah,
do burn out sometimes. I think I've had a serious burnout like 3 times now.
yeah, you need to, I think, like, I know it sounds, like, really silly, and, like, you probably don't need my advice, but all I'm saying is it's just, like, the more that my platform's grown, and, like, the more kind of, like, traffic that it gets, and the more, like, kind of, because, like, the reason why I got a platform from that initial bottom surgery post was, like, the reason why it reached so many people was because it became, like, a debate, like, a topical debate between the right and the left. And I think that, like I don't actually get a lot. Like, I probably do get a lot of hate, but, like, it's usually in my DMs. It's not kind of publicly,
Oh
like, there.
really? Because I hardly ever get TM hate. Almost
Yeah,
never. Today I got 2, but like I mean I must have got 4 this year total, and
mm,
like they're so dumb. I've got this rule where I ignore chasers, I ignore weird perverts, I ignore
yeah,
just people who say hi. I answer all trans people, anyone with any question about trans stuff, and I answer all of the hate posts because I like. There's a part of me that loves it. There is someone who is so pathetic that they've taken
yeah.
time out
That they
of their
haven't
day
seen.
to send me a DM, and
Yeah,
it's usually disappointing because they usually send some hate post and I reply to it like rinsing them, and then often they just block me, and I'm like, come on, like you're gonna hate
yeah.
on me and you can't even take the flipping reply, like
It's
pathetic.
crazy because, like, I remember that I had my bottom surgery picture where I was, like, blurred out. Like, it was obviously, like, I didn't post my, like, vagina, like, in front of everyone. Well, not on my not safe for work Twitter anyway. Um, not on my non-sex work Twitter. But basically, like, I didn't, but, like, I posted it and I put, like, a flower over it, and I just kind of wrote, like, a really wholesome post because it was,
Mm.
like, 4 days after my bottom surgery. Um, and I remember, like, I found out later that it had been posted, like, all over TIFF websites, and, like, it had been edited, and, like, banners across me, and just, like, all sorts of, like weird, scary
They
stuff.
say disgusting stuff, like
Yeah, they say
disgusting.
awful stuff, like, awful stuff. And, like, the thing is, as well, like, literally, I was like, I remember I had so many people being, like, for literally attacking, like, a young trans girl, like, why are you so bothered, like, about, like, what she's just done? And it's like, and, like, they didn't have a response, like, they just didn't. And I remember I was like messaging them, being like, you need to take this down, this is, like, really wrong, like, and, like, because I'm really good at arguing, like, I can put, like, constructed points out, and then that's it. Like, I give people, like, a certain amount of energy, and then I'm just like, right, I'm done now.
That's probably the healthy way because I'm like, we're going until you admit that you've made a logical contradiction
Yeah,
or one of us dies. Like that's it.
yeah. And the thing is, like, I totally understand that feeling, but I think I've stopped giving them a platform because I'm like, if I reply to them, then, like, they get a platform, and then people see what they're saying, and then maybe one of their people will join in, and it's just like, but, like, the most, but I had it face to face recently, like, in person, like, against the LGB Alliance. I went to a protest and, like, literally stared these people in the face.
Oh,
And
that's interesting.
that was an experience for sure. Because, like, being with one of my friends, obviously, and protesting against them, they obviously decided to book a venue outside of Grenfell. So,
Oh, that one. Yeah, I heard about that.
yeah, and it didn't go well at all. Like, I did not, like, condone or agree with some of the stuff that happened. Because it wasn't supposed to. Like, I have no idea who. Like, I mean, there's always trouble in any cause. You know what I mean? There's
Yeah,
always
for
people
sure.
that take it too far, and I felt like the people on our side that, like, thought it was appropriate to do that really let us down. But, like, the rest of everything was, like, really peaceful and quite, like, well done. But it was just that part, and I was just like, this is really not cool. And I actually had 2 Grenfell activists come up to me, and I literally took them to the side and, like, spoke to them, and they were, like, really, like, angry because someone had, like, yelled at them or something. And I, like, spoke to them, and I took them to the side, and I was like, can I please take the details? Like, I'm gonna make sure that you get an apology. Like, this is your space, like, and we're taking it up, and like we need to be doing it respectfully, and this was not what was supposed to happen, and I'm gonna tell everyone now. And they left like really like happy with what I said.
Good.
But like the thing is, it's just like there was this trans woman in the LGB Alliance who was walking around with a shirt, like with like some like adult human female shit on, like around like a bunch
I
of
wonder
trans people.
who
And
that
like,
was.
Who was it? Who is she?
Well, there's like 4
One
possibles.
or two people.
She's got like white long hair.
Yeah, I know the one. No names, not saying.
Okay.
I'll tell you on DM.
Yeah, message me about it. Yeah, but basically, like, what I'm saying is just like these days, I guess I just don't have the energy for it, and like, maybe TIFFs, I don't know, maybe TIFFs have started to pick up on that because they've really backed off me, I think.
They like there's this thing that I've noticed just in general, and like throughout growing up my whole life, is that there's different ways to react to bullies, and and it's identical to reacting with gender critical people. Like anyone at all in their life who's ever been bullied and who has worked out how to handle it would instantly see the pattern, and there's no denying it. And any gender critical person who's been bullied must know that they're doing this. Is like there's certain ways to react which make it much worse, and there's certain ways to react which don't make it much worse. And like ignoring people is genuinely a very good strategy, because I find they try something and you ignore them and they escalate a little, and if you stay strong, they just totally give up. And another way is to like hit them the right way in reply, but that takes some practice and skill, and it's something I've personally spent ages perfecting, and I'm still not perfect at it, but I think lots of people want to reply and it just eggs them on. You end up in this thing where they destroy you. And
I think the way that you hold yourself though is like really great. I think you're like a really cool person. I think I've like every time that I've seen you pop up on Twitter, I'm like, oh my god, she's so cool. Like I said to you before. But yeah, I'm probably gonna go because
no, that's all right. I need to get the next person anyway. Thank you very much for. I was about to kick you off anyway. It's been really great to have you here talking. Thank you for dropping in.
It's been really fun, and let's do it again sometime.
Yes, definitely. I plan to do more YouTube, and I'll have you on for sure.
Great,
Nice
amazing.
to meet you.
Bye. See you later.